Okay, no baby pictures, I promise. I'm going to talk about movies because I like to watch movies. Architecture moves very slowly. Movies don't. They move faster. In particular, I like movies about process. My three favorites are movies about making movies. Heart of Darkness is a great one about a great movie being made. Lost in La Mancha is a great movie about a movie that was actually washed away by a flood and never got finished. My favorite film on this, though, is Fellini's 8½. It's about making a movie that was never really a movie at all. And to me, it's the most compelling and it's the most honest. It's about a filmmaker, if you haven't seen it, it's about a filmmaker who bears his soul to you. It's really Federico Fellini talking to you through this character Guido. And he is absolutely gripped with fear, a fear of failure and a fear of not succeeding. And he struggles to make this great film that he must make, but he is distracted continuously by the women in his life. His girlfriends, past, present, and future, his wife, everything distracts him from actually doing what he's supposed to be doing. It's a saucy story, but for me it's actually Fellini's way of describing the process of making films. To make a film, to make art, to make architecture, you have to invest yourself in a subject. You have to immerse yourself in it deeply. You effectively have to fall in love with it. And Guido's problem is he loves too many people, too many things, and he is constantly distracted by everything except for the project he's supposed to do because he has no passion for it. Jamie, you spoke about passion. Passion is so critical. And so Guido eventually is so overcome with stress and pressure of this big production that he commits suicide very publicly. But it's a film and it's Fellini, and he comes back to life, and he actually ends up directing a cast of clowns in a parade. And I think it's very becoming and fitting that this small kind of moment of humanity, he sequences them, he orders them, he organizes them. And then this kind of final moment, and this is actually why I talk about Fellini, is the set for this film is set on the edge of town, and it's this big, ridiculous, empty scaffolding. And where Fellini and I cross is, I lived and worked in Italy, in Fellini's hometown, and Rimini, Italy is this place that just got destroyed by hotels, theme parks, and all kinds of things, including one I was designing. So I spent actually a lot of time designing and working at a very big scale in architecture, and about 2008, I lost my jam doing that, and in a way I became Guido, this kind of empty, nervous architect, and I changed gears completely. So kind of inspired by the parade of clowns, this little job we did at Science World was a project of clown-like proportions for me. I was so nervous doing it. It has no roof, it has no walls, it has none of the things that are my kind of staples. And it's a project I've actually learned to love in a very uneasy way. This is a little bus stop that we did out at UBC. It is so mundane in a way, a bus stop. It's such a non-building, but it's a little sister of this project we did at Science World, and again, it is a project that I've learned to love. It has this wonderful light quality, and it just brings a bit of life and sparkle to that 5 minutes of waiting for a bus. And it's these small things which are in such a counterpoint to these big things or these big forces that were really stifling Guido. And stifle me as well. We do a lot of soul searching within the practice about, is this good? Is this right? Is this fit? And we work very hard to think about the small things, the small pieces. So what I do in many ways is I try to take these exercises, these small little one-liners, along into bigger projects. This is a competition entry for the Art Gallery of Greater Victoria. It'll be judged sometime this month. Wish me luck. And every building has these banal aspects. This one has a skin. Skins are your first kind of way of introducing yourself into the world. So these little ideas of pentagons that we learned about through the transit shelter find their way into this building in a three-dimensional way by adding color to them on different surfaces. They can convey an image. As you move around the building, the image transforms and changes. Really, this is a lift on cinema. And we take these ideas into bigger buildings. This is a current one that we're dealing with that has to represent something that is very small. It's a research lab for quantum physics, tiny little things in a big building. So how do you convey something that is very small and very abstract? Well, the building will be covered in brick and masonry, so there's right away there's a way of linking from something that is small and can fit in your hand to something that is bigger and can be placed on a building. Thousands of them are placed on a building, and the way they are ordered and organized can represent crystal structures and things like that that represent the research that takes place inside. And then it becomes, in a way, like organizing those clowns in a sequence. It's organizing those brickworks in a sequence. And this building, believe me, has a cast of characters a mile long that are taking this building on such a ride and pushing it all over the place. So my job is really to lead the charge in that, to find a way of loving that, but also bringing, I suppose, a thing that will be transcend that and kind of keep it mine and keep it whole. I'll be totally candid, it is a challenge, and you have to look inside all the time and continually find ways of loving this thing, because architecture is so crazy. One minute that thing can have all the legs in the world, and the next minute the project can grind to a halt.